Now we have some slides just coming, which we just picked off the internet. Most of these are actually relatively old. There are as many definitions of cloud computing as there are websites, well, almost as many. Here's a compendium of them from Wikipedia, Gartner, AMR Research, Think Strategy, dot, 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 dot. And here we have these different definitions. This one stresses scalable and elastic IT enabling, delivering as a service using internet technologies. That's very equivalent to what I've been saying. This definition here is pretty similar from Wikipedia, a slightly longer definition. Here we stress the delivery of software as a service, which without some of the lower level things like elasticity. And then, of course, it stresses that you license the software and you rent the hardware. Here, Think Strategy stress pay as you go, that it provides a service, you just pay for what you use. Here, again, it stresses the service model. Cloud computing is nothing more than a service model. And the execution is virtualized, so you don't know what's going on, and you only pay for what you consume. Here we have IDC. This just basically doesn't stress some of the features before, it just says we deliver services. Here we have another one stressing services. And here they bring in grid computing. It's quite controversial, whether grid computing is a forerunner of cloud computing or bypassed by cloud computing or the same as cloud computing. Another similar concept of cloud computing is utility computing, and here it has hosting as a service as another term for infrastructure as a service. And this one here again is pay as you per use, access by the internet and user services. Well, here we have yet another definition: elasticity, virtualization, pay as you go. So these are features we've already seen. Here's yet another slide from a different talk. Here we have about coming back. If you get ones coming from academia that mention grids, the ones outside academia tend to ignore grids. And because clouds came from business, but clouds still exist. Grids tend not to exist except for data, because data is intrinsically distributed, and grids are still surviving as a viable idea. So this is a rather cynical remark, which points out cloud computing has a lot of hype. Berkeley is a very important early pioneer in defining and popularizing cloud computing. They stress elasticity, the illusion of infinite computing resources, the fact that you don't have to make any commitment and you pay for what you use. Here we have McKinsey, a distinguished think tank, and this points out the abstraction. It tends not to well, it has hardware-based services. I'm not certain how you could have any other. Well, I guess this just says these are computer services, and you incur your cost as a variable expenditure as you use it, and you don't have capital costs. So that's a technically important concept. And we've already seen the Wikipedia definition. So this particular site has its own, from SlideShare, has its own definition. Where we agree on scalability, we agree on virtualization, the importance of the network. Abstraction is sort of the same thing as virtualization, the importance of platforms, the use of services, and billing by consumption. So, there's general agreement. Some people emphasize different things a little more than other things. We will want to use services, not necessarily web services. We will want portals. Those portals, almost by definition, the web, because what counts is a portal which you access. Presumably, you'll access it through the web. The scalability, the pay for use, the virtualization, and different as a services. This slide here points out web service technology, although SOAP is web service technology. I don't think you'd call REST web service technology. Virtualization, there's VMware, is the commercial leader. Zen is a low-level hypervisor importance like KVM. VirtualBox is a useful technology for downloading. The other areas now, which they don't mention because this was a rather early slide, are things like OpenStack, which is an important open source virtual machine manager.